When God is about to help you, one of the first things he does is shake everything that was never meant to stand in your life. You'll start to notice things falling apart, friendships that fade, jobs that end, doors that close, plans that collapse. It can feel like your whole world is breaking down, but what's really happening is a divine cleanup. God removes what you thought you needed so he can give you what you actually need. He tears down the temporary to make room for the eternal. You see, you can't step into your next chapter carrying the baggage of your past. The things that once fit your life no longer fit your purpose, and God loves you too much to let you stay where you don't belong. At first, you might not understand it. You'll ask, why did they leave me? Why didn't that opportunity work out? Why did everything suddenly fall apart? But sometimes, what you see as a breakdown is actually a breakthrough in disguise. God doesn't destroy, he replaces. He doesn't remove to punish, he removes to protect. The door that slammed shut didn't reject you, it redirected you. What you thought was the end was really the beginning of something divine. You were praying for blessings, and God answered by removing the burdens disguised as blessings. He saw things you couldn't see. He heard conversations you weren't meant to hear. He knew that certain people couldn't go where he's taking you, so he ended it before it could end you. The truth is, if God didn't close certain doors, you would have stayed stuck. You would have settled for average when he designed you for extraordinary. Sometimes he has to shake your world to get you to move. The pain of loss is often the price of progress. What feels like rejection is actually a rescue. He's not trying to hurt you, he's trying to help you. Think about a gardener pruning a tree. It looks like he's cutting away life, but in reality, he's making space for more growth. The same is true for you. The things God removes are the very things that were limiting your growth. It's not subtraction, it's preparation. You may feel like your foundation is crumbling, but that's because God is rebuilding it on truth, not illusion. He's teaching you that your stability should never come from people, possessions, or positions. It should come from him alone. He's stripping away everything that could distract you from your destiny. He's teaching you to lean not on your own understanding, but to trust his perfect plan. You might cry in the process, but those tears are watering the seeds of your new season. What you lose in this season will never compare to what you gain in the next. Every ending is making space for expansion. Sometimes the collapse of your plans is the construction of God's purpose. You thought that door was the only way forward, but God's about to build a door no one can close. You thought that person was essential to your future, but God's about to send someone who loves, supports, and elevates you beyond what you imagined. You thought that job was your source, but God's about to show you he is the source. When everything you leaned on starts to fall away, it's not chaos, it's clarity. God is showing you that he alone is your foundation. Once you learn that truth, you'll never fear loss again, because you'll understand that anything taken from you was never yours to keep. There's a reason why God breaks certain things before he blesses you. He knows that if he gives you the blessing before removing the burden, you'll end up mixing purpose with poison. You can't pour new wine into old wineskins. You can't build a palace on a cracked foundation. Before the miracle manifests, the mess has to be cleared. The old must die for the new to be born. And sometimes, that death feels personal, the death of relationships, habits, or even versions of yourself that no longer align with who you're becoming. But if you can endure that season of loss with faith, you'll see it was never loss at all, it was divine exchange. Everything that's crumbling is part of your construction. God is dismantling the pieces of your old life so he can assemble your new one. You may not see it now, but one day you'll look back and thank him for every closed door, every painful goodbye, every disappointment. You'll realize that every no was necessary to lead you to your greater yes. You'll see that the rejection was actually protection. The people who walked away were only meant to walk with you for a chapter, not the whole story. God had to remove them so you could rise without restraint. So, don't curse what's leaving your life. Bless it and let it go. Don't hold on to what God is trying to take away, you'll only delay your destiny. What you're losing now might just be the thing blocking your blessing. Surrender the pieces and watch him rebuild something greater. Remember, God's removals are never random, they're strategic. Every loss has meaning. Every ending has purpose, Every fall apart is a setup for something greater to fall into place. If you're watching parts of your life crumble right now, take heart, this is your sign. It's not over. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. When God starts removing, it means He's about to restore. When He starts shaking, it means He's about to shift. When everything seems to fall apart, that's when heaven is closest. Trust the breaking, because the blessing is coming right behind it. What's meant for you will not leave you, and what's leaving you was never meant for you. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your transformation. God is clearing your path, refining your soul, and positioning you for the help that's already on its way. All you have to do is trust the process and keep walking, because when God is about to help you, everything that's not meant for you will fall apart first. When God is about to help you, you'll start to feel something inside of you shift, an unexplainable restlessness that you can't ignore. It's that quiet stirring in your soul that tells you, there's more. You'll look around at your life, and even if everything seems fine on the surface, something deep within you starts whispering that you're meant for something greater. That whisper is not frustration, it's divine invitation. It's God waking up your spirit and letting you know that the season you've been in has expired. That uneasy feeling isn't confusion, it's confirmation that you've outgrown where you are. When God is ready to elevate you, He won't let you stay comfortable. He'll disturb your peace in all the places that are too small for your destiny. This restlessness is not a curse, it's a compass. It's heaven's way of guiding you out of limitation and into transformation. You might not even know what's next, but you can feel that where you are now isn't it anymore. Your spirit becomes too big for your surroundings. The conversations that used to excite you now drain you. The places you used to love now feel empty. The people who once inspired you no longer speak to your soul. That's not boredom, that's spiritual growth. You're evolving, and your environment can't hold you anymore. God is preparing to move you into a space that matches your maturity, your calling, and your potential. When this divine restlessness shows up, don't fight it. Don't try to silence it by forcing yourself to fit back into old patterns. You can't shrink yourself to stay comfortable. Growth and comfort never coexist. That tug you feel in your heart is God stretching you, expanding your vision, and unlocking parts of you that have been sleeping. The problem is, most people mistake divine restlessness for dissatisfaction and try to fix it with worldly distractions, new jobs, new hobbies, new relationships. But nothing external can satisfy an internal calling. The only thing that can fill that void is obedience to God's next instruction. That sense of unease is not something to escape, it's something to embrace. When God wants to move you, He won't shout, He'll stir. He'll make your spirit uneasy until you start seeking something higher. It's His way of saying, you've been here long enough, it's time to rise. That's why you can't ignore the feeling that something is shifting. It's not your imagination, it's preparation. The divine discomfort is proof that something greater is on its way. Every major transformation begins with restlessness. It's the womb of destiny. You feel it before you see it. It's God's gentle push that says, don't settle here. I have more for you. Think about every major move in your life. Before each one, there was a moment of deep internal stirring. Before you left that job, before you started that dream, before you broke free from that relationship, you felt it first. That's how God works. He speaks through the unease before He opens the door. He makes you too uncomfortable to stay where you are so that you'll move toward where you're meant to be. The truth is, He's not trying to frustrate you. He's trying to free you, because sometimes the only way God can get you to move is by making you uncomfortable where you are. So if you're feeling restless, don't mistake it for failure. Don't panic and think something's wrong. It's not that your life is broken. It's that your spirit is breaking through. You're not being pulled apart, you're being pulled forward. That discomfort is the evidence of destiny unfolding. You might not have the full picture yet, but that's okay. God rarely gives you the map, He gives you momentum. That stirring is the first step toward your next chapter. You just have to trust it. In this season, God is asking you to stop clinging to comfort and start chasing calling. The things that used to satisfy you will no longer do so, because you're being called to higher ground. You're being invited into a bigger purpose, and that requires you to let go of what feels safe. The restlessness you feel is not a punishment, it's preparation. You're shedding old layers, old limits, and old versions of yourself. Every time you feel uneasy, remind yourself, something new is being born in me. God is not letting you sit still because the next version of you is waiting on the other side of your obedience. Restlessness is a divine alert that your purpose is evolving. Don't numb it with distractions, lean into it with faith. Ask God, what are you trying to show me? Because if you listen closely, He'll guide you step by step. He'll reveal new visions, new passions, new directions. He'll open your eyes to see beyond your current situation. And when you finally take that leap of faith, when you stop ignoring the nudge and start obeying the call, everything will start to make sense. The anxiety will turn into alignment, the confusion will turn into clarity, the restlessness will turn into revelation. Understand this, when God is about to help you, He doesn't always announce it with thunder and lightning. Sometimes He begins with a whisper that says, "You're made for more." That whisper becomes a fire in your soul that won't go out no matter how hard you try to stay comfortable. You'll feel it in your heart, your thoughts, your dreams. That's God preparing you for the help, the opportunity, and the elevation that's already on its way. You don't need to chase it, you just need to move in obedience. So if you can't shake that feeling that something's changing, take it as a sign. You're not stuck, you're shifting. You're not lost, you're being led. The restlessness is not random, it's revelation. God is stirring your soul because the blessing He's about to bring requires a new version of you. Embrace the discomfort, trust the process, move with faith, even when you don't have full understanding. Because this divine unease you feel right now, it's not the end, it's the beginning of your breakthrough. It's heaven's way of telling you, get ready, I'm about to help you rise. When God is about to help you, the path doesn't suddenly become easy. In fact, it often becomes harder. Challenges start showing up from every direction. Doors you thought would open remain closed, and the weight of life feels heavier than ever before. You begin to wonder why the pressure has increased right when you've been praying the hardest. But what you don't realize is that this pressure is not punishment, it's preparation. God allows your faith to be tested because every great blessing requires great strength to hold it. Before the victory comes the battle, and before the miracle comes the moment that tests your belief. The storm isn't there to break you, it's there to build you. When you start facing unexpected challenges, understand that they are divine indicators that something powerful is coming. The enemy doesn't attack what isn't a threat. The reason life feels so heavy right now is because your breakthrough is near. The closer you get to your blessing, the harder the resistance becomes. The enemy knows he can't stop what God has planned for you, but he'll try to make you doubt it. He'll whisper lies like, you're not strong enough, you'll never make it, God has forgotten you. But remember, this God never tests your faith to destroy it, He tests it to deepen it. Every trial is an opportunity to prove that your trust isn't in circumstances, it's in Him. Think about it, before David could become king, he had to face Goliath. Before Moses could part the Red Sea, he had to stand before Pharaoh. Before Daniel could be promoted, he had to walk through the lion's den. Every great move of God was preceded by a great test. That's not coincidence, that's divine process. The pressure you're under right now is training you for the position you've been praying for. God is toughening your spirit, sharpening your discernment, and solidifying your faith so that when the blessing comes, you'll have the strength and humility to sustain it. The challenge is not meant to stop you, it's meant to strengthen you. The truth is, sometimes God will let things fall apart just to see if you still trust Him when nothing makes sense. It's easy to believe when everything is working in your favor, but true faith is proven in the fire. That's where your character is refined. That's where you learn to depend not on your plan, but on His presence. Every delay, every disappointment, every obstacle is molding you into someone who doesn't just talk about faith, but lives it. God is not punishing you with problems. He's promoting you through them. You can't get to the next level without being tested at this one. The moment you feel like giving up is usually the moment right before the breakthrough. That's why it's so important not to quit in the middle of the test. The enemy wants to convince you that the pain means God has left you, but the pain is actually proof that God is working. The struggle means you're still in the fight, and the fight means victory is coming. Every tear you cry is watering the seeds of your future. Every time you refuse to quit, heaven takes notice. You're being prepared for something greater, and every battle is building the strength you'll need to carry the blessing that's on its way. When challenges come, don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask, "What is this teaching me?" Because God doesn't waste pain. Every struggle carries a lesson, and every test carries a truth. The hardship you face today is shaping the wisdom you'll need tomorrow. The mountain you're climbing is building the muscles you'll use to stand tall when you reach the top. So don't despise the struggle, embrace it. Every time you keep walking when you want to stop, you're proving to heaven that your faith is real. Every time you trust God in the dark, you're preparing to see His light. Remember, gold is refined by fire, diamonds are formed under pressure, and faith is strengthened through storms. You cannot become what you're meant to be without being tested. God is not sending the storm to sink you, He's sending it to show you that He's stronger than the storm. When the waves rise, He's teaching you to walk on water. When the wind howls, He's showing you that your peace doesn't depend on the weather, it depends on your trust. And when the storm finally passes, you'll come out not broken but blessed, not weak but wiser, not fearful but fearless. Sometimes before God helps you, He'll let everything that's fake fall away so that only faith remains. You'll lose the things that gave you false confidence so you can discover that He is your true source. You'll face situations that money, people, and logic can't fix, and that's where miracles are born. That's where divine help steps in, because when you reach the end of yourself, that's where you find the beginning of God's power. The very challenge you think will break you is the one that will reveal His strength through you. So don't give up in the face of difficulty. The fight you're in is not a sign that God has abandoned you. It's a sign that your breakthrough is near. Keep your faith steady. Keep your spirit strong. You may be in the fire, but remember, gold never complains about the flames. It shines because of them. God is using this moment to shape your miracle. What looks like chaos now will soon make sense. The storm that scares you today will be the story that strengthens you tomorrow. Hold on. Don't lose faith just because life feels heavy. You're being refined, not ruined. The challenges are not signs of God's absence, but proof of His preparation. The fact that you're being tested means He's about to help you in ways you've never seen before. The help is coming, but first, the foundation must be built strong enough to carry it. Keep believing, keep standing, and keep trusting. Because when the test is over, the testimony will be greater than anything you've ever imagined. God is not breaking you down, He's building you up for the blessing that's on its way. When God is about to help you, one of the first things He'll do is separate you from the noise. You'll notice people start to drift away. Friends you thought would be with you forever suddenly become distant. Relationships that once felt strong start to fade. And connections that once fueled you now feel like chains. It's painful at first. You'll wonder why people are walking away, why support seems scarce, why you feel more alone than ever. But what feels like rejection is often God's redirection. He removes distractions, not to punish you, but to protect you. Before He elevates you, He isolates you. Because some blessings can't be built in crowded spaces, they require sacred solitude. There comes a point in your journey where God needs to get you alone, so He can get your attention. You can't hear His voice clearly when you're surrounded by opinions, noise, and influences pulling you in every direction. Solitude is not a setback, it's strategy. It's in those quiet, lonely seasons that your spirit grows stronger, your vision becomes clearer, and your relationship with God deepens. The silence that scares you is the space where God speaks the loudest. When the crowd leaves, clarity enters. You start realizing that not everyone who started with you is meant to finish with you. Some people are only assigned to your past, not your purpose. When God begins to separate you, He's not taking away what you need, He's taking away what's holding you back. Sometimes the weight slowing you down isn't failure, it's people who can't see your vision. People who drain your faith, people who aren't ready to go where God is calling you. And when He removes them, it's not cruelty, it's kindness, because if they stayed, they'd only sabotage your next season. God knows who can handle your growth and who can't. He knows who will celebrate your breakthrough and who will envy it. That's why, before he helps you rise, he cleans your circle. Isolation is often the first evidence of elevation. It's in the lonely seasons that you learn who you really are without validation, without applause, without approval. You learn that your worth isn't based on who surrounds you, but on who sustains you. When the noise fades, you discover that God was enough all along. You learn to depend on his presence more than people's opinions. You stop chasing attention and start seeking alignment. That's when the transformation begins. God strips away the external so he can strengthen the internal. He removes distractions so you can rediscover direction. He takes you out of the crowd so he can crown you in private. Every great leader, every chosen soul in Scripture, went through this season of divine isolation. Moses had to leave Egypt and meet God in the wilderness before he could return as a deliverer. David had to tend sheep in solitude before he could face Goliath. Joseph had to be separated from his family before he could save them. Even Jesus had to retreat into the wilderness before he began his ministry. Solitude is not a punishment, it's preparation. God hides you before he highlights you. He uses isolation to incubate greatness within you. So don't despise the season where you feel unseen. That's the season where he's shaping you for something significant. When God pulls you away from people and places that no longer serve your purpose, don't run back out of fear or loneliness. Stay where he has placed you. The silence may feel uncomfortable, but it's sacred ground. This is where your spirit matures, your faith deepens, and your purpose takes root. God is detoxing your soul from dependency on approval, company, and comfort. Because the next chapter of your destiny requires strength, focus, and peace that only solitude can give. The quiet season teaches you to rely on God's voice alone, and once you've learned that, no crowd can ever mislead you again. Sometimes before God helps you, he hides you. He puts you in a season where no one sees you, no one celebrates you, and no one seems to care. But that's the safest place you can be, because hidden doesn't mean forgotten, it means protected. God hides you so you won't be destroyed by premature exposure. He hides you while he builds you, because if he showed the world your purpose too soon, you wouldn't be ready to carry it. The hidden season is where roots grow deep. It's where strength is built in silence. So when the spotlight comes, you'll have the foundation to handle it without falling apart. Don't mistake loneliness for abandonment. God never leaves you, he leads you. He's pulling you away from certain voices so you can finally recognize his. He's stripping away false support so you can discover real strength. It hurts now, but soon you'll see that every loss was necessary for your growth. Every person who walked away created space for divine replacement. Every silence was God preparing your spirit to hear his strategy. You don't grow in the crowd, you grow in the quiet. And the ones who can endure isolation are the ones who are trusted with elevation. So if you find yourself alone, misunderstood, or forgotten, don't despair. You are not being buried, you are being planted, and what's planted in private will bloom in public. The separation you're experiencing is divine setup. God is not punishing you, he's positioning you. You had to lose some people to find your purpose. You had to walk alone so you could walk with him. Because the help he's sending next won't come from the crowd, it'll come from heaven. The silence before the breakthrough is sacred. Trust the isolation. It's not the end of your story, it's the construction zone of your destiny. God is getting ready to help you, but before he lifts you up, he's teaching you to stand alone with him. And once you learn that, nothing and no one will ever be able to shake you again. When God is about to help you, he will begin to shift your perspective. The way you see yourself, your struggles, and your future will start to change. What once looked like a dead end will begin to look like divine direction. You'll start to see purpose in the pain, lessons in the losses, and growth in the grief. God will begin to open your spiritual eyes to understand that everything that has happened, the disappointments, the delays, the detours were not accidents, but alignment. You'll begin to realize that what you called a setback was actually a setup for something greater. When God starts working in your favor, the first miracle is not outside of you, it's within you. He changes your vision so that you no longer see life through fear, but through faith. That's the moment your power returns. Because when your vision changes, everything changes. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" You begin to understand that every storm you survived made you stronger. Every rejection was redirection. Every closed door protected you from something that wasn't meant for you. The pain didn't come to destroy you, it came to develop you. That shift in perception is what opens the floodgates of divine help. Because when you start seeing through God's eyes, you stop panicking about the process. You begin to trust that He's working even when you can't see it. You learn to rest in faith instead of wrestling with fear. When God shifts your perspective, He's inviting you to rise above your emotions. He's teaching you that faith isn't about seeing results first, it's about believing that results are coming even when nothing looks like it. You start to see that every delay has divine timing attached to it. You realize that you are not behind, you're right on schedule according to heaven's clock. And even when life feels like it's falling apart, you recognize that sometimes things must fall apart so better things can fall into place. That's what divine vision does. It lets you see order in what others call chaos. It helps you see opportunity where others see obstacles. It helps you stand firm when everything else around you is shaking. This shift in vision doesn't happen overnight. It comes from moments of deep reflection, surrender, and faith. It comes from crying out to God in confusion and hearing His gentle whisper say, "I'm still in control." It comes from realizing that your understanding has limits, but His wisdom has none. You begin to see that your disappointments were not denials, they were detours to something better. That heartbreak you thought ruined your life actually redirected you to your purpose. That job you lost wasn't rejection, it was release. That season of delay wasn't wasted time, it was preparation time. And once your perspective aligns with God's, you stop fighting the process and start flowing with it. When your eyes open to the truth of divine perspective, gratitude takes the place of bitterness. You start thanking God for what didn't work out because you realize it was protecting you. You start finding peace in what used to cause you pain because you now understand it had to happen that way. The people who left you made room for the ones who were meant to stay. The opportunities that passed you by cleared the path for the right ones to arrive. You start walking lighter because you're no longer carrying confusion, you're carrying clarity. You finally understand that nothing was wasted and everything had a reason. This kind of vision is powerful because it transforms how you live. When you see life through faith, you stop reacting to fear, you stop doubting yourself, you stop settling for less, you stop worrying about how things will happen, and you start trusting that they will happen. You move with confidence, not because you have control, but because you have connection, a divine connection to the one who knows the end from the beginning. That's when peace floods your heart even in the middle of chaos. That's when hope rises even when circumstances don't make sense. You start seeing blessings hidden in burdens and purpose disguised as problems. Sometimes God doesn't change your situation immediately, He changes your sight. Because when you see differently, you act differently, you speak differently, you think differently, you stop saying, "I can't do this," and start declaring, "With God I can do all things." You stop saying, "I'm stuck," and start believing, "I'm being set up for something greater." That's the transformation God wants, not just to change your life, but to change the way you see your life. Because the moment you shift your perspective, you attract divine help. The moment you see through faith instead of fear, miracles begin to manifest. When you walk with that renewed vision, nothing can shake your peace. You'll encounter obstacles, but you'll see them as opportunities for growth. You'll face challenges, but you'll recognize them as chapters in your preparation. You'll endure pain, but you'll understand it's producing purpose. That's the power of divine sight. It turns every battle into a blessing. God's help often starts with clarity, because when you can see where He's taking you, you stop clinging to where you've been. You start walking boldly into the unknown, trusting that every step is ordered. So when your perspective starts to shift, don't resist it, receive it. It's God showing you the truth behind the trials. It's His way of saying, "You don't need to understand everything, you just need to trust me." The moment you see with faith instead of fear, your whole life begins to align. The burdens start to feel lighter. The path starts to look clearer. And suddenly, what once felt impossible starts to make perfect sense. Because when God is about to help you, He doesn't just send miracles, He gives you the eyes to see them. And once your vision changes, everything else will too. When God is about to help you, He will give you peace that makes no sense. Not peace that comes when everything is perfect, but peace that shows up right in the middle of the storm. It's that unexplainable calm that sits in your heart when everything around you looks chaotic. You can't describe it, you can't explain it, but deep inside, you just know that somehow everything will be okay. That's not ordinary peace, that's divine assurance. It's God whispering to your spirit, "Be still, I'm working," even when you can't see it. This peace doesn't mean the storm stops immediately. It means the storm loses its power over you. It's the kind of peace that holds you steady when life tries to shake you apart. This peace isn't found in the absence of problems, it's found in the presence of God. It's what happens when you stop trying to control everything and start trusting that the one who created the stars also holds your situation in His hands. You may not see the full plan, but you begin to trust the planner. You realize that every delay, every detour, every heartbreak is still part of His design. That understanding brings rest to your soul. You stop wrestling with worry. You stop overthinking the future. You stop fearing what's next because you know who's already there. When this peace enters your life, it changes the way you move. You stop reacting out of panic and start responding out of purpose. There's a quiet strength that comes with divine peace. It doesn't scream, it doesn't rush, it doesn't force. It simply stands still and believes. That stillness becomes your weapon, because when everyone else is losing faith, you're standing firm, calm, and focused. When others are consumed by anxiety, you're guided by assurance. That's what makes divine peace powerful. It keeps you grounded when the ground beneath you feels like it's crumbling. It gives you confidence that no matter what falls apart, God's hand will hold it all together. You realize that peace is not something you achieve, it's something you receive when you let go and let God take control. There will be moments when life will try to rob you of that peace, sudden losses, unexpected news, uncertain futures. But that's when you'll know whether your peace was built on circumstances or on Christ. Because real peace doesn't depend on what's happening around you. It depends on who's living within you. It's the unshakable assurance that even if the world turns upside down, God remains unmovable. You may feel weak, but His strength sustains you. You may feel alone, but His presence comforts you. You may not know what tomorrow holds, but you're certain of who holds tomorrow. That's peace that surpasses understanding, peace that isn't logical, but is deeply spiritual. When God gives you that peace, it's not passive, it's powerful. It guards your heart against fear. It silences the noise of doubt. It strengthens your faith so that even when you can't trace His hand, you still trust His heart. It's the kind of peace that lets you sleep through storms like Jesus did on the boat, because you know the storm can't sink a ship that God is sailing. You begin to move differently, speak differently, and think differently. You stop worrying about what could go wrong and start believing in what will go right. That calm confidence becomes your greatest testimony that even in the darkest night, your spirit remained unshaken because you trusted the light. This peace also prepares you for the blessing. Before God releases something great into your life, He often brings stillness first. He calms your spirit so that when the breakthrough comes, you can handle it with grace and gratitude instead of fear and pride. Because peace makes room for clarity, and clarity makes room for miracles. When your heart is still, you can hear His voice clearly. You stop chasing things that don't serve your soul and start aligning with what truly matters. That's when doors start opening effortlessly, not because you forced them, but because your spirit was ready to receive them. Peace doesn't mean everything is perfect, it means you've learned to trust perfectly. It means you've surrendered your timeline for His timing. It means you no longer panic when plans change because you know every detour has a divine purpose. You realize that nothing can stop what God has ordained, so you stop living in fear of failure. That kind of peace can't be shaken by storms or stolen by stress. It anchors you in faith, reminding you that if God brought you this far, He won't leave you now. The same hand that guided you through the fire will guide you into favor. So when that supernatural peace begins to settle over your soul, recognize it as a sign God is near. He's about to help you, to heal you, to elevate you. The peace you feel before the blessing is heaven's way of saying, you're ready. You no longer need to strive, fight, or force. You just need to flow, because when peace takes over, blessings follow. Peace is the posture of trust, and trust is the key that unlocks divine help. Right now, if you feel a quiet calm deep inside even when life doesn't make sense, that's not coincidence. That's confirmation. It's God's presence telling you that the battle is already won, that no matter what's happening around you, everything is working in your favor. You don't have to chase what's meant for you. It's already making its way toward you. Keep your spirit still, your faith strong, and your eyes on Him, because the moment you stop fighting and start trusting, you make space for miracles. That's when divine peace turns into divine power. That's when heaven moves on your behalf. When God gives you peace, it's His way of saying, help is here.